Good afternoon. I hope you are all doing well by the grace of God. Yeah, welcome to this live broadcast of the Flow Music Team training tutorial session. And in today's video, we are going to be showing you how to create this nice flyer over here, your own info on it. So without further ado, let us get started. So today what we are going to do is that we need a similar background to what we have done. So what first thing that we need to do is that we need to open a new, and sorry, I'm using two screens. We need to open our width as 10 and our height is 10, our resolution as 300. So the next thing that you want to make sure that is okay is your color mode. Now it should be in RGB color. If it's in grayscale, let me show you the difference of what it does. For example, if I take a gradient, a colored one, that is, if I take a gradient and I want to change the background, with the grayscale activated, it will be in black and white. But when you activate your RGB color, when you activate your RGB color, it will return back to normal. I had a problem with Richard with this problem, and we even uninstalled it and reinstalled it again, but we were able to figure it out at the last end. So I decided to check through the settings, and I realized that most people may have this very problem. Alright, so this is a new way. We are not streaming via Zoom today. We are using a streaming software called OBS. You should try it out if your church is planning on streaming their church services. It's a very good thing, and this is being broadcasted to Restream. It's not being broadcasted directly because the direct broadcast may end at that. Okay, so let's keep that point and then we'll go to the new, and now we want to open our sheet of paper. So now we want to close that, and now I want us to open our photo. So now, as you can see, I've been doing a lot of work recently. I haven't been so active on the channel. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I just realized that day I had removed the watermarks on the thing, and at the end of this stream today, I'm going to announce a very special thing for us to use for our churches, because I know most of us, that's why we are here. We are here for music, we are here for things officially, and we are here for things all UD or First Love, whichever denomination you come from, you're welcome to this place. So I want to open up my PS project. I don't know how I save that, because yeah. Okay, so with this particular one, I had removed the watermarks because there were watermarks on this background. So I had removed the watermarks. So if you have maybe a problem whereby you can't take off your watermarks of a picture, let me show you how to do that quickly. But I'll put this exact picture, the one that I've taken off the watermarks, and I'm going to give them to you so that you can use it whenever you want. Okay, so first thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to open the exact thing. Where is it? I think it's this one. No, not this one. So I actually downloaded two that day when I was doing it, and I decided that I'm going to share with you. As you can see, this is in a very high resolution, but when I zoom in onto the document, you can see that there are some little watermarks. So that's the problem with high quality pictures. Yes, they are very attractive, but if there are watermarks on it, it's going to be very visible. So select your rectangular marquee tool and then select you are actually supposed to use the rectangular. I don't know why it picked the ellipse or the ellipse, whatever you guys call it. I call it ellipse. So you select that part and then you use the spot healing brush to clean that part away, and just like that it goes away. So with this being known, this is a very great way to take off things of a design or a picture which you want to take off. So let us go back to what we are doing over here. So first of all, if we take a look at the design, well, it's a very attractive design, and secondly, the person you saw on that design was me. So well, just in case you didn't know, that's me. Okay, so it wasn't an example, it was actually for my church service, but for today I'm going to show you. It's a very simple flyer, but it looks very complex, but to be honest, it's very simple. Just that you need a First Love Experience logo. So if you are not in First Love, I'd advise you to advise your pastor if he wants a experience logo for his church services. You can explain to him that it consists of the church services that you guys have in a week, and it may make your designs look as such. Because if you don't have such designs, your designs may not look attractive as you want them to look, or you may not get the exact result that you want. Exactly. So what you want to do right now that is, first of all, you have to take the size of the photo, and I'm going to open this part. I'm going to open it in a JPEG form, not a PSD, so we can close this down. We'll duplicate it on our untitled one, and then we have this. So first thing that we want to do is that first of all, we want to put it under, and we'll turn off the background. So now we want to draw a shape. Then we'll use clipping mask features to do what we want to do. So we are going to zoom in first. You can use alternate and scroll. If you don't have a mouse, I don't know how you're going to do that, but you can use alternate to scroll, and then you use the rectangular rectangle tool to draw a rectangle, and to fill this place. So make sure maybe at times it is black so that you can actually see what you're doing. Okay, so now that we have this, if you think that you didn't get the dimensions right, you can transform and hold your shift to expand or disform the picture. Control gives a perspective. By perspective, I mean that if you pull it up, okay, let me give you a quick example. So for example, I want to make this a visible color. I can use this gradient. Now if I transform it, I'm holding down on my control key, and then I can deform it as such. So you can be creative with this little effect that I've shown you. So Control Z to undo. Oh, and do note that if you do Control Z while you are in the transform options, it's not going to work. So Control Z to undo what I've done, and yeah, this is it. So we've gotten the first triangle. Now for the second one, here is it. We are going to also pull across. Yeah, so that is good. That is a pretty good size, so you can use this and then you can turn that off. Now we need to focus on the text. Now the text that they use, most of the times I'm mostly with First Laugh a lot, so most of their fonts that they use I have them already. So yeah, so what we need to do now is that we want to actually draw. We want to get the color of this, so we are going to select the background, which is the picture, and then we are going to take our eyedropper tool and then we'll pick a color. Yeah, so that's bright, and then it's going to be you are going to take off the opacity anyway, so okay, so we are just going to take off the opacity anyway, and it doesn't have to be bright. It can be very standard. It can be very standard so that you will be able to, you know, get this effect. So now that we've drawn this, we should also turn it off. So mostly this is maybe you can call it a design of triangles, because there are a lot of triangles that need to be done to obtain such a nice design. Now as you can see, the service blocked that part, so you're just going to observe from the other letters and then you do what you can. Alright, so we can turn that off, then we start to insert the text. This font is called, the part where the Saturday and the pastor's name is written is the font of Go Bold, and the prophetic encounter too is the font of Go Bold. So yeah, now we want to enter the service. So first thing, well, that's the part that catches people's eyes. So we want to select our color to be white, and then Myriad Pro. So Myriad Pro, no, it's actually in the A section, and it's not Garland too. It's Akira expanded. So it has a very, how you can identify this font, how you can identify fonts really is how their letters are written. So this Akira has a hard R and some sort of a, you know, an awkward E. So in order not to, you know, move it too above the rank, what you can do is that you can nudge it so separation, you're just going to separate it by the picture, and if the separation is right, just reduce it and see if all separation is going to be good. So once it's good, you can, yeah, it fits perfectly. So turn off the service for now, and then what we are going to do is that we are going to duplicate the service and we are going to turn the original off. Now the next service, we are going to use it as the layer style. Then you go to your stroke. For the blending options, you can turn off your fill opacity there, so you can work with this. So we are working with outside, and then you can nudge it down using your arrow keys on your laptop. It may be a little slow, but I promise you that it will get you to the right dimension. Let me move this very fast. Alright, so now that is good. Now as you can see, the surface is not all that colored. It's somehow light. To do this, you don't need to decrease the opacity. You can decrease the opacity of the stroke, and the blend mode should be normal, not dissolve. You can decrease the opacity of a stroke. So I am using an opacity of 60, and I think that is okay for me. And I'm going to pull the last surface down. So as you can see, First Love uses creativity to build their designs. All through the is that people use creativity to do their designs. So now I'm going to press on my text, and then I'm going to enter the next one. First of all, I want to take off the spacing. I want it to be normal, and then I want this one to be go bold, and it's a go bold regular. So we are going to use maybe your pastor's name. So one thing I like to do when I'm editing designs, like when I'm editing pictures on designs, is that I will edit them with the exact same name on the flyer. When I'm done, I went and I delete the design, and then I can change the info that is on it. So like this, and then we zoom in and fit it appropriately. As you can see, the spacing is not equal, so I'm just going to use auto, and I'm going to space it out, just keep spacing, and then it doesn't have to be all that perfect. So at times it can be like this, and then you can turn that off, and then this part is also go bold. So we are going to enter our time. As you can see, Saturday 9 a.m. and then I'm going to change that to the left align text, and then you enter your church's name there. If your church's name isn't long, you can keep it as it is, the font size, or if it's very long, then you can reduce it as it's over here. So I'm just going to enter First Love Center. Wrong way. And then I'm going to decrease it for a while. Alright. Okay, and then like I said, it doesn't have to be all similar. You have to be creative, but then again, if you want to have something similar to what I've done here, then you can take all the time you want to, you know, to get the appropriate thing. But if it's not really a necessity to you, so you can just do what you want. And this F Live thing over here, as you can see, it's a bit different. Now I'm using I created one for myself, so I'm going to save it as a PNG and put it in the folder. I created one for myself and then I'm just using it. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open that very PSD, because I always copy from the PSD. I feel like it's much better copying directly from the PSD. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate the layer onto the sheet. As you can see, it's very big over here, and now I can decrease over here, and then we can increase the size of this. So I got this F Live idea even from the time we were doing prophetic encounter services at, you know, the Jesus Savior of the World. Back then it was Flow service, but now it has changed to whatever it is now. I think it's now prophetic encounter, and I think everyone has adjusted quickly than me. I mean, I still miss the normal Flow services that we used to write. So when they came back, I was like, oh, why did they change the name? And I just passed on by it. That's just by the way. Okay, so today is Thursday. I just realized that today was Thursday. So I will create another video talking about how to create a Flow prayer meeting flyer. So stay tuned. Now what we want to do is that for this circle part, we should have done it when we were doing the shapes for the flyer. So we'll take our shape tools and change it to an ellipse, and then we are going to hold down on our shape to draw a perfectly scaled circle. Now be warned though that you shouldn't use the stroke that the shape tool gives you, because you won't have the option to actually, you know, change the how it is. So if you use the stroke option, what if you want it inside instead of out? So that becomes a problem. So make sure that you just turn off the fill. You are just using the outline or the stroke of the circle. So you go to your layer style. I want it inside, and then I'm going to increase the size a bit and take my opacity up. Then now I'm going to take my First Love Center experience logo, yeah, it's over here. So if you want this, if you're a First Love branch and you can't get the exact thing like the First Love experience, I have created one, so you can have it, so that you can also create along with us. So all these things that I'm using will be in the will be in the folder below. I forgot to turn off the ellipse as it affects the thing. So yeah, I'm turning that off. And then now for the last part, which is the prophetic encounter part, is also the same font, which is the Go Bold. So prophetic encounter, sorry, prophetic encounter, and then you can enlarge it, and once again you can scale it as you want. So I'm going to just find some pictures. So I wrote Anagkazo on this one, but because of the type of service that I'm doing, I'm not at Anagkazo, and so I'm going to write Anagkazo people here, and then that's pretty much it. You've drawn the shapes, you have the stuff. So finally you can delete the background, but I don't suggest that you delete it that soon. Alright, so first thing, we are going to turn off all the layers so that nothing shows, and then we want to open two pictures of Dark Keyword Mills. I have a whole folder of his photos. Crazy, right? Anyway, I'm going to take one of the recent ones. Oh, and did you guys realize they changed branding again? I mean, we were using like some branding. Let me show you. We were using this one before. One day I was around and I said, oh, maybe they're just something out, not knowing they have changed it. So I have also created my version of this frame that they've used. I'm going to be giving it out for free so that you and your church can use it. If you like, you can modify it and change it, and if you want to seek help, you can always email me and I'll get back to you. I hardly read my email, but surely I will get back to you. Okay, so I just did something out of the ordinary. Okay, so we want to crop it out, and so crop, and then crop it out, and then what you can do next is to actually duplicate both of them to the untitled one, and then so now you have both of them. So the first one, we are going to be turning on, what's the background? Oh wow, it went all the way down. Okay, so we are going to turn on our rectangles first. So it's great, but we need to actually select the picture. So I want to select it and put it on top of the triangle. So yeah, okay, so you move this down here. Now do note that if it doesn't fit fully, you can always expand to see where the picture goes and all of that. So now that we have this kind of result, we want to reduce the opacity of the picture. Maybe a 50 will be okay. Okay, 49 is also good. 49, so you can enter numbers. So that's something you've learned today. fill. Okay, so leave the fill as it is, just decrease the pictures, not the shape, the pictures, because if you take the fill down, you just saw what happened. So now I think everything has even gone below, so I'm going to push it up, and then I'm going to select these two. I'm also going to decrease it, so 52, and this one is also 52. So maybe we might want to send the opacity up, so maybe it's a 61 is okay. 61, yeah, and then you can put your service there and then activate your service. So as you can see, it's starting to draw out. So with this one, like I said, once you are done copying from the design, you can change whatever you want on the design. So maybe prophet dag the word mills. So theirs is at, I think, I don't know what time. So theirs is at 10. As you can see, it needs a little decreasing. Like I said, everything will not be the same. Your time may be different, so you must adjust to the design. So now we can activate the Facebook thing, and then we can change this. So we just have to erase the barrier off, and then we can, oh yeah, I don't want it moving. So HQ, and then this one will be dag keyword mails. So now that we have this Anagkazo and count, and then there our circle comes in. So now when you're done, I'm going to save this for referrals later. Now that we're here, we are going to do something a bit different from now on. So we are going to do a little bit different from now on. If you like, you can download the PSD, and then download the PSD and you can change it, or maybe I won't even do that instead. So I'm going to save it on my computer, a JPEG. Now changing settings has changed. If you want it in the highest quality, you have to check the JPEG option. It's coming on my other screen, that's why I always have to pull it back in. So it has to be a higher of maximum. Richard always likes to pull it all the way forward, which is absurd. So this is 10. So I've messed it. I want to resave it, so you can use a shortcut which is alternate control S, and it will bring up this pop-up, and then you can select your JPEG, and then you can save. So leave it at maximum, and you can set it to standard, not progressive, standard, because I realized that the standard actually saved it in more higher frequencies than the progressive. The progressive shades a little bit of it shades the quality of the design a little bit off. So what we are going to do now is that we want to merge our file and we want to add a camera raw filter. So just select from the down to the up, the last layer on top, then you press shift control alternate E, then you can merge all together. So now that it's merged, now we are going to right click on the picture that's been merged, and then we are going to use a smart object. Now when it turns into a smart object, just a second, that's to clear my cache on Photoshop. So if you see some error about your scratch disk being full, you can use edit, you can use purge, and then you can clear the cache. So now that we have this, we can just select the filter. So one thing I would like to say is that the reason why we do the smart objects now is because maybe you may like to re-edit what you have done. Maybe the vibrance of the picture is too much or whatever. So I'm just turning up the vibrance and I'm giving it a little exposure, a little clarity, maybe not so much, and a little hazel. So maybe you want to edit it, you maybe you have made a mistake and you want to see the numbers of the camera raw filter that you have done. You can always come up to the picture and click on smart pictures and you will see the camera raw filter over here. So as you can see, we have the 23, 52, 60, and it's always easy to change. I've added some, I've added some exposure on it and the pictures look very bright. Alright, so now we are just going to go to JPEG and we want to save it in maximum. So yeah, we can close that. But before we go, I want to show you how to edit pictures very quickly. So now I want to take a picture of dark keyword mills, and then I'm going to crop it out. I want to crop the part of the First Love Church thing away, and then we have only this. So if I want to edit it, I'll just go up to filter and camera raw filter. For picture editing, yes, you must always have the thing converted into a layer before you do your convert to smart object. So when you open the picture like this, you realize you have it as a background and it's locked. So press the unlock button and it will unlock it, and then you convert it to a smart object. When you convert it to a smart object, then you are able to go to the camera raw filter, and then whatever edit you made can be editable. Unlike when you don't change it to a smart filter, a smart object, you won't be able to re-edit it, and when you keep re-editing it, it won't go back. So you can edit the pictures. As you know, we can mess with the clarity and the saturation, the exposure. Maybe you want it to come down a bit, and I agree, it looks very, very good. Yeah, so it looks very, very good. It depends on the clarity of the picture that the picture looks nice. I'm using a screen right now, so it looks good, and I can see from my my screen, my other screen, that it's looking okay. So yeah, that's how to edit pictures. Now for the big announcement, we have flow events now, and the flow event, we have types of them, everyone and its title, and I'm glad to announce that the FLOWMusic team is giving this away for free. So we have from flow service to the gospel encounter service. So we have the flow service, we have the prophetic encounter, we have the flow revival, we have the Good Friday church service, we have the flow prayer meeting. We have two of them actually. So the first one is like this, and the second one, the first one is like this, and the second one is somewhat similar. One is bigger than the other. So the flow prayer meeting one, you can see that it's much bigger, and the second one is much smaller. The second one is what is being used now, but just monitor when you are saving it. So these ones, you save them as PNGs. I'm going to show you how to save one. We have this one is one of my services, but you can have the permission to use it too. We have the Anagkazo encounter there with some sort of a hot color, and then last but not least, we have the gospel encounter, which I do at my center. Now for this, I have a flow service. One over here. So flow service Christmas. So there's one for Christmas. Yeah, that was the one we're using during Christmas. And we have, last but not least, the Almighty Chalak Night. So these are into groups. There's January to November, and there's to December too as well. So for example, you want one of them. If you want to edit them, you just click on this small icon that is over here. Let me zoom in so that you can see what I mean. So what you are going to do is that you are going to click a small icon that is on the side. I'm going to move my mouse there so that you can see it's over here. So a small icon, you double click it, and then it will take you, when you double click it, first select it, then double click, and when you double click, you see a picture clip to the text. You will see a picture clip to the text. So when you click to the text, when you see it like that, then meaning that, so it actually it's not a gradient in Photoshop. It's actually a gradient that was created in vMix, downloaded as a PNG and being clipped. So that's how they do it. They took time to make it so hard that we couldn't do, but I crack every single thing that the First Love Center does. So as you can see, we have the prophetic encounter here. It's distorting because first of all, it's not clear because it's in a small format. So if I want to change the prophetic encounter, maybe you want to change it to, I don't know, evangelistic encounter or what. That's you. Check. So as you can realize, the evangelistic has gone very far. So now as you can see, I'm going to extend the border. I'm going to extend the canvas, and then I'm going to first, it's a linked thing, it's linked together. So you select the gradients, then you expand it, you transform it, then you expand it throughout the text to the end of the text. So when you save it over here, Control S, it will save like that. Now when you come back to the flow event, you see that you have no more the prophetic encounter, but you have the evangelistic encounter. So we are going to use Alt Control S, and then we are going to save on our computer. So now I'm going to save it in a PNG, and then I'm going to save it EE, evangelistic encounter, and then I'm going to use the following format. So it says large file size, faster saving, and now press OK. So now what I want to do is that this is the program that I'm using. So don't worry about the reflection. I want you to look down here. I want you to look down here where the pictures are. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to add an image. Then when I add an image, I'm going to add an image, and I'll browse. So I saved it in what? I saved it in the titles, so that's where I know where my stuff are. So when I save it like that and I put it up like this, I have this sort of, flow, this one. So let me remove my Photoshop from there. If maybe I'm playing a video or I'm displaying something like a camera, if I'm playing a video or I'm displaying something like a camera, you can put it behind. So this software also has its training there, so maybe you may not get it at first. So let me move it back, and then if you take a close look on your screen, you can see that the evangelistic encounter, what's it called, the title has come up. So when you see that, that's how it is. That's the software I use. It's a very amazing software. It's called OBS Studio. So yeah, that's how it works. Now if you want to undo it, just press Ctrl Z and then Ctrl S again, and then you can save it on the smart object and save it here as well. Alright, so after this, I'm going to upload the pictures that I use, including the Facebook Live, and I think I'll get the font for you too, so that you can follow along. I will get the Akira, and I'll give you the First Love Experience logo too. Alright, so thank you for watching this YouTube video. May God bless you mightily, and see you next time when we meet for another live interactive stream on how to create an Anagkazo encounter first love flyer.